right, so we are here to look at the deployment of the plastic sheeting device. We've listened to input, listened to some concerns, went back to the drawing table with the input of a few groups and various personnel, and decided to change a few things up. So the plastic sheet itself is going to be folded. It's going to be in the red first in bag. And the modifications we've made is we have switched from a 6 mil translucent plastic to a 4 mil clear plastic. Okay, Lieutenant May is going to bring the plastic in and we're going to look at it. Very similar setup. We've now taken this and we have put almost a gaffer's type tape on here. It makes it easier for the arms to slide in and out and to mark where they're going to go, so you're not looking for the actual arm holes. Labeled medic arm, still labeled head for the head of the patient, and then you'll notice down here we added patient armholes, and we're going to show you in a second how that works. So we will be deploying the plastic. Any situation we're going to be doing any sort of airway management. In this situation, we're going to show you first how the plastic goes on. Note that the plastic is coming from a foot position, and we're going to drag the plastic up the patient that's laying supine. In the patient armholes, the plastic is going to slide up those armholes and take it up to the armpit. And now you have access to the arms. The sheet is flush on the patient, and the medic still has access up at the top. Put the arm. So when it comes to the head, there's been enough of the plastic sheet cut so that you can either A, move it forward and kneel on it to create a compartmentalized area, and the provider that's providing bag valve mask ventilation can reach the hands in from the head there. Or if you want, you can tuck it under the patient's head. Obviously that's going to be a little bit easier once you're on the stretcher, but you can certainly do that here. It's going to be provider preference and however comfortable you're with the situation. Okay, so as we talk about this, the scenario we're going to give you is a cardiac arrest, and obviously we have two different scenarios, right? Is it cardiac in nature, or do we have, we'll say in the instance of a COVID patient, it's going to be a probable respiratory arrest to cardiac arrest. For a respiratory arrest to cardiac arrest, we want you placing the Airway, the King LT, immediately while you're doing compressions. We still sit that for the first 8 minutes of the arrest and the continuous compressions. It's done manually, and then you transition to the Lucas after those 8 minutes. But when we look at respiratory, place your Airway first while you're doing compressions. At the 8 minute mark, deploy the Lucas. When we're looking at cardiac, it is traditional CCR with a non-rebreather and an OPA for the first 8 minutes, and then deploy the Lucas. One of the things that's imperative in this situation, okay, while the fire department is doing compressions and doing CCR, or your partner or whoever it may be, we're going to pull the backboard from the Lucas case, and that's going to go under the patient well prior to deploying the Lucas device, and we're going to demonstrate how to do that. So Lieutenant May has the backboard, and he's going to go ahead, and what he'll do is he's going to kneel with another provider at the head. He's going to slide his hand through the medic armhole where we would normally manage airway. He's grabbing the patient's shoulders, and they're going to lift the patient forward. 1, 2, 3. That goes on. Down. 1, 2, 3. And now the Lucas device backboard is on the patient. At the 8 minute mark to deploy the Lucas, I will bring that in. Now mind you, again, that's going on very early in the arrest. Once we hit the 8 minute mark, Lieutenant May, I'll give this to you. The Lucas can easily be deployed. We had talked about cutting up the center of the plastic, and we had done that, but we had found that it actually is safer and easier to manage the plastic without doing that cut. The patient's hands aren't required to be secured to the Lucas device. While it's preferred, obviously we're not going to be able to do it in this situation. It's not required. So. The sheet gets rolled up. Lucas device gets put on. In this scenario, we were actually able to get the arms onto the Lucas, get the device deployed, and you'll note what the providers did is before the Lucas was deployed, rolled the barrier device up. When you roll it, you're going to want to roll it inward and under as to keep the contaminated side rolling in. You don't want to roll it up and out. So you'll see it's folded under. They roll it up to the neck. You have a barrier right here. Patient can be locked into the Lucas, and you're going to work it for your 20 minutes and make that decision if you have to transport. You're going to have to then obviously deploy the tarp, which might be a little bit more challenging with the plastic, but probably not. Or you're going to leave the patient there if you determine that you're going to presume the patient.